Hey guys, HalfClickUp here. Welcome back to the channel. Coming at you today with something a little bit different, an oh so rare RV living kind of life vlog, and just to kind of touch base on a situation that if you are full-time RVing, or even if you're not, even if you're just on a vacation and you run into some kind of a weird power issue, I wanted to cover sort of a little anomaly that we recently encountered, and I figured out what the problem was. And so just real quick, you will notice if you are either a subscriber or have looked at my previous videos in this RV living series, but you see all of this real estate that now exists here. So basically I have relocated the entire rig back, I guess about maybe 5 to 7 feet backwards, and then maybe 3 or so feet across, kind of tucked it into the back corner of this slab. And what that allowed for is essentially all this real estate, which serves now as covered parking, right? So the wife can actually park her van right here. She just backs in and it fits perfectly, and out of the weather. So it's pretty nice. But so anyways, let me just quickly cover what was required to make that happen. So the reason why we never did this before is because we needed what is essentially a gigantic extension cord. All right, this is a 50 amp rig, and that's a 50 amp extension cord. Now follow it with me. And there. See, so this cord is the original one that came with the rig, and now I'm able to keep it running behind all our junk, out of the way, straight up to the rig. But you can see just how lacking we were in adequate range, if you will. Got the extension cord, which allowed that's like an extra 15 feet, which allowed us to A, relocate into this back corner, see there, and B, it allowed for us to neatly tuck away, for the most part, the cord so that it's not a trip hazard or anything like that while we're farting around back here or whatever. Anyways, so the great discovery of the big problem. Basically what happened was, a few months ago, the power here at the RV park went out. And when the power went out, all of the interior lights in the rig went out with it, which is not supposed to happen. And the reason why that's not supposed to happen is because these rigs have deep cycle batteries inside them, so that if you were to actually take it camping and you did not have a power hookup where you were bringing the rig to, you could actually run interior lights and small things like that off of a deep cycle battery, and that deep cycle battery is located here. Okay, so suddenly we have a situation, we have a conundrum, if you will. We have a situation where we have to figure out, well, what in the hell was the problem, and why are we not having power inside the rig when electricity goes out? Now, furthermore, the issue was revisited here a few days ago, and reared its ugly head again when I was repositioning the rig. I had it hooked onto the truck, right? Everything was good to go, ready to retract the hydraulic landing gear, and guess what happened? Damn near nothing. Bunch of clicking from these relays, and lots of no power happening, and the landing gear is like meh, and it would stop, and I'd try again, and just a bunch of clicking, hitting the old switch here, trying to lift it up, and nothing. And I'm like borderline panicking at this point, right? Had a couple of guys come from the back over there to come provide assistance and give me their thoughts. And what it came down to is we believe that perhaps the battery is bad. Now that would certainly explain the lighting situation, and it would certainly explain the fact that the landing gear would not come up, except for the fact that the main power cord was still hooked to the rig, yet still the landing gear was not getting the power it needed to raise. And so that's another thing that I'm not 100% sure of, but it's kind of obvious to me at this point that this landing gear operates completely off of a battery source and has nothing to do with the 50 amp power. I know that sounds weird, but apparently it's a thing, because what I then did, imagine the dually sitting here, okay? I hooked the power, this guy, right, that plugs into the bed of the truck. I plugged it up, let it sit for a few minutes, hit the button, up it started to come. So evidently, it took being hooked on to the dually to give it just enough extra juice to allow for the landing gear to barely suck up, and even still we had to keep recycling the button just to get it to finally come up so that we could reposition the rig backwards. Anyways, guys, right now what we're going to do is we are going to rule out the inverter power system, the float system, right? So what you have here is a battery cutoff, which always stays on, right? Unless you're storing the thing. If you're storing it, then you cut it off, and it cuts off all power and float to the deep cycle battery. Now this is deep cycle, okay, so this rig is a 2016 model, and that means that the deep cycle battery is at least 3 to 4 years old, at least, probably 5 years old. So we can maybe presume that that it is a bad battery, right? But what we don't know is if the problem is the charging system. So what we're going to do today is we're going to take a simple little Harbor Freight multimeter. It's a few bucks at Harbor Freight, man. Super cheap, but very effective. And what we're going to do is we're going to put the leads onto the battery posts, and we're going to play with the cutoff switch. And what that will allow us to do is remove power from the battery and then put power back to the battery. And we'll see what the voltage does, what kind of fluctuation we get, and that should be very, very telling. So here we go. All right, so we take our little multimeter, turn the stupid thing on, right? Put it on the 20. Don't ask me why, just put it on the 20. That's the one you want. All right, so we're going to take the positive lead and we're going to put it on the positive post. We're going to take the negative lead and put it on the negative post, and then we're going to play with the battery cutoff up there and see what kind of differences we get. All right, so let me see if I can do this and to a situation where you guys can actually see what we're working with. So here we go. All right, I barely have this thing standing up on its own, so let's see. Now bear in mind that the power is currently on to the battery, positive to positive, negative to negative. What's that? About 13.5 volts. Now 13.5 volts is very important. It's just like on the on your vehicle, right, on your car. When the alternator is running, you should get well over 12 volts. 13.5 to 14 volts indicates that your charging system is working. Now let's see what happens when we cut the when we disconnect the battery power. See if it still maintains that. And what this will do up here, kill that. All right. Battery charging system is now off. What this will do is it's going to isolate the charging system from the battery and allow us to see only what the battery is producing. Look at that. 11.05, 04, 03. What you're seeing is right before your very eyes, the battery discharging itself. Isn't that incredible? This battery is absolutely dead, folks. I mean, I don't know how low it'll go, but you know, the point is being made right now that we are operating well below what we need to be operating at to power a 12 volt system, right? All the LED interior lights in the rig are on a 12 volt system, and if you're not producing 12 volts, guys, you're not going to be able to run anything in there. So 10.90 and still dropping. Clearly, this is an absolutely dead battery, and so that's our problem. Constant wife and kids just got home. You can probably hear the one of four just losing his mind in the van. But there you go. So the point's been made, folks. That's the problem. That is the problem. But hopefully I didn't drag that out any farther than I had to. But There you go. Proof positive, proof in the pudding. That battery is shot. But anyways, so yeah, the wife did pull up while we were filming, and take a look at how nice this is now. So the mother-in-law is here, kind of like the celebration for Amelia being born. So she's actually parked where my wife used to park, and now, you know, if you can imagine this car being gone, this will all be open real estate now, and we now have covered parking. Pretty good. Sounds like one of the kids is getting in trouble. Anyways, that's my my cue to get out of here, y'all. So anyways, whew, have to look up. Peace. We're going. Bye.